On this channel, I probably will joke around a lot about like, I have ADHD. It's so funny. There are very frustrating parts of having it, and that may have seemed a bit aggressive, sorry. It's like I don't pay attention to what I'm doing all the time, so like I'm trying to find the other side of my microphone, and I left this connected to my camera, put it in my camera bag, and I don't know where the other part is. And I need it because I want to take a walk and I want to tell you guys a story. So annoying. So crazy. Cannot think of where I would have put it. Oh, did I put it in the drawer maybe? No. This one, surely it is in this one. No, of course not. I honestly, I bet I was wearing it. And it's wherever my sweatshirt or whatever it was connected to is. Now I'm debating, like, do I continue looking or do I just go for a walk and hope that my phone audio does well enough? I'll go look, and I'm gonna give it like 2 minutes. If I don't find it, it's on like Donkey Kong, and I'm using the mic on my phone. Well, that's unfortunate that I cannot find it. I should probably introduce myself. Hi, I'm Jody Lynn. If you've never been here before, I am building out this 2017 Ram ProMaster and plan on taking off this October to start van life at the age of 50. Thanks for being here. So I often have people that are like, so where are you like now? Like, what's going on with you? And like, are you with Craig or are you not with Craig? And so I kind of wanted to explain where we're at. I know that I started this channel like pretty seriously last fall. And at that point, in the beginning, we were not together. And then we decided to try one last time. And so where are we now? We are not together, and technically not together as a relationship. We are divorced. However, I am living in his house, and technically sleeping in the van, but using the kitchen and just, I'm living there basically. I work there. I kind of wanted to explain like where we're coming from and what got us to where we are, and in as quick of a way as possible, because I don't want to make this like a super prolonged, boring video. And I also don't mean to come off like narcissistic, like, oh, you care about my life, let me tell you. I just know that there are a lot of people that question what is going on. I also know that there are probably people in my very similar situation to where I am, which is you are divorced, but you are still living with that partner and looking for a way to get out and be on your own and seeking probably freedom, peace. So I just want to give a little bit of background to my situation that I'm in, which is currently building out a camper van, and I plan on living in it full time for the next couple years. I want to save as much money as possible to buy land and probably build like an A-frame house. That's kind of my dream. Or a campground, honestly, or both, hopefully together on the same property. So that's where I am currently. What has led me here, I kind of have to start, honestly, 30 years ago. And Craig and I met in high school, and we were in art class together. We were crushing on each other. He had a girlfriend and I had a boyfriend. And one week, we agreed that we were going to break up with said boyfriend and girlfriend and start dating. Well, one of us followed through with it. One of us did not. That being said, we still liked each other. I actually ended up moving on to college. So the first summer, I came home, we hung out, and pretty much from that point on, we ended up dating and got together. Now, at the same time that we started dating, I started having anxiety and panic attacks for the first time in my life. I was like 18 at this point, and I didn't know what was wrong with me. I thought I was gonna end up in a mental ward. It's like all hills around here, so I think that I will end this here and I'll pick it back up in the van. I don't need you guys to be hearing me go. See you in a minute. So back to story time. Now, where was I? Yes, college. And I was going to the Art Institute of Pittsburgh, taking music and video business. My dream was always to, or not always, but my dream at that point, for that month, was to go to New York City and work in the music and video business. I kind of wanted to be like on film crew, and I loved music, and I just thought that sounded, I also liked photography, so I thought that sounded like a good mix and something good to do. However, when I was down there, I started, like I said, experiencing anxiety and panic disorder, and at that point in time, mental illness wasn't really talked about. It wasn't, I didn't know what was wrong with me. I just thought I was so scared I was gonna end up in mental hospital. I ended up coming home, taking a break from school and coming home. And my mom took me to a psychologist and got me on medication. And I basically essentially started dating Craig at that point, and we had been dating. And I kind of only felt safe and comfortable when I was with him. And so that kind of developed an unhealthy attachment. I developed an unhealthy attachment to him. I didn't know that obviously this was happening. But in hindsight, now that I've learned about like attachment theory, I can clearly see where my unhealthy attachment to him was very difficult on both of us. I'm gonna really try not to cry in this video, but it's hard. We got pregnant pretty soon after I moved back home, probably within the first year. And so we had our own place, got an apartment, ended up having our son, and basically from that point on it was just survival. So when I was younger, my parents divorced when I was like 8, and so I was very against divorce. I felt it ruined my life in the sense that I was very close to my dad, so he left, and that always really hurt me. And so I was very adamant about having both parents in the family, no matter I didn't really think about whether we'd be happy or not. I mean, at this point, we were just raising a baby and trying to put food on the table. So I did not have a college degree at this point. Craig did not have a college degree. He ended up working like shop jobs, and eventually he went to school for carpentry and got into that field. That was really good. I worked at a retail store for, like, I don't know, 8 years, I think, maybe 11 years. In between that time, I did end up going to college, and the reason I bring this up is because it really helped me develop a sense of security within myself and also confidence. I also was in therapy, and obviously that really, really helped. I learned a lot about anxiety, how to breathe better, how to do tapping to help with anxiety. And so I really did get it under control to where panic attacks weren't really a thing I was having anymore. It was just more anxious feelings. Like I wouldn't really let my son go with anybody because I just was too anxious. While I had to know he was okay at all times, and I had to know Craig was okay. There was a long time where he carried a beeper. This was before cell phones. And he carried a beeper, and so I could get a hold of him anytime that I felt like I needed to. So it was probably honestly like maybe the first 8 years, I don't know, 6 to 8 years of our relationship, I was very much attached to him, but in an unhealthy manner, and to where I think it ended up building resentment both within him and I, because he was developing his career, and he was really enjoying it and very passionate about it. And when he gets into something and he's passionate about it, he is 110% in. And so he was 110% into his career, which meant he had less time at home, and I had felt abandoned, basically, honestly. And we've talked about this. This isn't like new information to him. And I'm not talking bad about him. We were both young, and it's just what happened. And I just want to explain it because I think a lot of people who know us especially don't really understand. They're like Jody and Craig. They just belong together. They get along really well and blah, blah, blah. But they don't really know the actual insides of the relationship. They don't know how, I don't know, how tumultuous it can be, and how we can treat each other behind the scenes. And it's not always great. It's not always love and kindness. Let's just put it that way. So that basically led me to eventually, after years and years and years of living this life where it was like I felt abandoned, and so then I took things out on him. I basically just ended up, it was me and the kids. Everywhere I went or anything that I did, I didn't even really think to invite him because I just thought, well, he just wants to be at work and do his thing. So I'm going to do my thing. He's going to do his. I think when our youngest was going away to college is when we finally were realizing, like, we were older and we were like, we need to get marriage counseling if we're going to make this work and if we're going to stay together. Because everybody talks about when your child goes away to college, how, you know, now you have each other and you can like spend all this time together. And I was like, I don't want to do that. And I want to be with my kids and I want to be a mom. That's all I want. Ugh. So when Riley was going to college, which is our youngest, I felt very adamant about getting myself into therapy and figuring out like what is going on with me. I, at that point, wasn't happy in my marriage. I wasn't happy in my job, and I couldn't land even on like what I felt spiritually. I knew I believed in God, but I didn't like have, I didn't feel Christian, and that's the way I was brought up. That's the way we brought the kids up, but I didn't feel like I connected with it. And so I was kind of feeling like I can't make a single decision in my life anywhere. So I started therapy, and that was back in like 2018, and saw the same therapist for 6 years actually total. And she really helped me work through some childhood stuff and helped me figure out, I knew that I needed to leave Craig in order to figure out what I really wanted. I wasn't happy in my marriage, and I didn't know. We had already done the therapy thing. We learned how to communicate better, but it didn't help. Like, it wasn't any better. I didn't feel any better. I still felt unhappy. And I knew in my heart that I needed to get out of it in order to just figure it out. Like, figure out like what is happening and what's going on. So this is like 2020 when I decided. I told him, like, I remember still being in the driveway in the car and telling him, like, we need to separate. And he wasn't obviously happy about it. I think it really hurt him. But we did it anyway. We sold the house that we were in, and this was like 2020 when houses were selling for a lot of money, and we made a good chunk of change on it. He got his half and I got half, and I bought my own house. Now, in my mind at this point, I was just separating from him, and because I needed to figure out like what I wanted and where I stood with our marriage. But I think that was at the point when I did separate from him and I did buy my own house. That was a point for him where he then shut himself off. Now, hindsight, I mean, I know this now, but I didn't know it then. It wasn't communicated to me that buying this house meant something. It meant like it's done, it's over to him. I didn't know that. I didn't think that. Also, we both have attachment styles that we now know that we didn't know then that we have. And he is an avoidant. He has an avoidant attachment style, and I have an anxious avoidant. So that just means that if something happens, something gets like, stressful in our relationship, he backs off and runs away. I either anxiously like have to figure it out and like, get like super all into it in an anxious, uncomfortable way, or I completely back away and avoid it. And once we learned these things, it was like, oh my gosh, you gotta be kidding me. Like, I did not know this existed, but that's totally us. And from what we've learned is that's the toughest relationship to be able to have, to be able to carry through. And so now knowing that we're both just broken people. No. Anyway, so after that, I had lived in that house that I had bought by myself for like 7 months. And that's when he decided, yeah, he wanted to give it another try. And I was really 110% in at that point. I really wanted it to work. And we bought a house together. We lived there for a couple years before he wanted to move into the rental that we're in now. And so we sold that house, moved into the rental. So that was about 3 years in before, and things were okay. They weren't great. They were like, I think we were better than we were the first 25 years of our marriage, but they were, just wasn't, you knew it wasn't right. You knew we weren't really connected the way that, and it was because now he held back. He no longer was feeling like he was as in love with me, or maybe even in love with me, because I hurt him. And so it's like we were taking turns. We were never on the same, this is what I tell people, is we're never on the same frequency. Another thing that we realized too is that we don't have the same goals in life, or we don't enjoy really the same things anymore. We've just grown into totally different people, and that's unfortunate. It makes it really tough to try to build a life together when you're constantly running this like three-legged race. I'm pulling one way and he's like pulling the other, and then you've got like attachment styles that are not healthy on top of that. It's not been awesome. It's not been great. And so that lasted about 3 years. Like I said, the second round. Oh my goodness. And we decided, like, why is this so hard for us? Why is it so hard? Like, I don't think relationships should be this difficult. And so, because we just argue and we're not on the same page when it comes to politics, and that obviously has not helped. So we ended up, I was like, well, I'm not doing this again. I'm not going to stay in Erie and end up running into you with some girl in your truck. Like, I couldn't even handle the thought of that. So I was like, I've always wanted to move south, and I moved to Charlotte. I have friends down there. So that's how I ended up in North Carolina. So I got an apartment. Milo and I moved down there by ourselves. It was okay. I realized that I don't love being in a big city, for sure. It's not my thing. I don't like traffic, and I loved the weather though, and I loved the sunshine, and I loved being close to my friend too. That was really nice. 7 months in, again, there's like this magical 7-month thing for us where we ended up talking on the phone, and I was having honestly a tough time with finances at that point. I was actually starting to like charge rent, which is so not who I am. Like, I know that is so dangerous and so dumb, but it was at a point where I had started a business, maybe 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, I quit my job and started freelancing, and I didn't want to quit it. And so I was like, oh, I will make this work. I will make this happen. I can do this. And it started getting to a point where it was tough and a little bit scary. And we were just talking one day, and he said, well, would you consider coming back? And I was like, what? Like, would you, do you want me to come back? Now, at this point, we're already divorced, right? We already signed the papers. But we never stopped talking. Like, we've always talked. We've never had that like 30 days of like don't talk or see or anything of them. Like, never have we done that. Anyway, so we ended up finding out about this attachment theory, which we did not know about. He actually found it in videos and he sent it to me, and we were like blown away. We're like, that is totally us. He is the avoidant. I am the anxiously attached avoidant. And that's the toughest relationship to maintain. And we were totally like, okay. So the woman that was talking about it on videos had like a package you could buy, like therapy kind of counseling sort of thing package that you could buy with her company. And so we were like, what if we did this? Like, what if we work through this program and we could get this to work? And then on top of that, he was like, well, you move back up here. I'll take care of the bills. You get yourself set straight with finances again. He's very good with finances and like very concerned about that. So he doesn't like to see any of his family members in distress financially. And so he always tries to help with that. And so yeah, there was money involved, but there was also more. I wanted our relationship to work. I mean, we've been together since I was 18. And I love him and he loves me, but, yeah. So I moved back, and I mean, that lasted for maybe like 3 months before we were just like, yeah, we are not good together. We cannot do this. This is not healthy. And we had not done that coaching package. I kind of think we're both just burnt out and tired and don't even want to work on it anymore, to be completely honest. And I realize people that are like super, like, that have been married a long time, they're probably breaks their heart to be like, oh my God, I can't believe they just didn't do everything they possibly could do. I feel like we did everything we could possibly do except for get into this program and learn more about this. But that just, I think that we know we're different people. We have different goals. We have different visions. And to try to work through that, to know that we are not on the same page, and to try to fix these attachment styles, knowing that even our North Star is still not the same, it never will be the same. I mean, what's the point? It seems to me like that's a waste of time and a lot of energy that I just didn't want to partake in, nor did he. So yeah, so then we decided, okay, so now at this point I had already bought the van, and it was going to be my camper van, and I was going to travel to Texas and like wherever I wanted to go, but then always come back, and this was going to be my home base. About maybe a month or two after I had bought it is when we decided like we're not going to be together. And then I had decided, okay, well then I'm moving into the van and I'm going to do it full time. Now this was in the spring of this year, and it is now August. I'm clearly still building it out, and I plan to hit the road in October and go full-time van life. So that is why I'm doing it. I don't actually know if that sums up why I'm doing it. I think that sums up where I came from. I think that the reason I'm doing van life is because I need time to rest. I need time to reset. I need time to be by myself. I need to explore and see the things that I want to see and get this like travel bug. I don't know if I'll ever get rid of the travel bug, but I'm already doing it, so I'm doing this. That's just how I roll. I am also financially still trying to get myself into the green, and building out a van while you're in the red is not going to get you further into the green. I'll tell you that. So he has been kind enough to continue paying like the bills here and allowing me to just work, and all the money that I am making, I'm paying off debt. And then I've been paying for the van build. So the goal is for me to be debt free. Hopefully by the time I leave, well, honestly, I don't think it's going to be till December. So I'll leave in October, and then the plan financially should be that I'll be debt free with consumer debt, not with the van paid off. Then the van will be paid off next year. I do have financial goals. I am now almost, in a couple of days, I'll be 50 years old, and that is terrifying to think that I'm that close to retirement and have no savings. It's not a good place to be. So what I'm going to do is do van life so that it can be less expensive than rent, because I know how expensive rent is. Like, I don't want to pay, I don't even know where I want to live, and I certainly don't want to pay $1,000, $1,200, $1,400, $1,600, $1,800 a month to live in a stationary place I don't even want to be in. I would rather pay my van payment of $400 a month and, you know, whatever else I need, the gas, obviously. And so I've done a budget, and I know what it's going to cost. And it's not like crazy less expensive than being in an apartment, but it's definitely less expensive, and it's going to help me live the more minimalistic lifestyle that I want. And I get to explore and see new places and meet new people. So it is really what I need to do. And I'm very excited. I just really want to grow this YouTube community, because I just see so many people that are doing similar things like in van life, and they have built a community and they've got people rooting them on. And so if you can share my videos, that would be super helpful. Give it a like or thumbs up, and subscribe if you haven't already, because I really genuinely care about growing a community here for me to support, and then also for you guys to support me, so that I don't feel like I'm alone when I'm out on the road. Don't leave me alone. No, I'm just kidding. No, but for real. Anyway, I hope that wasn't too boring and it wasn't too long. I really tried to keep it short, but man, it's hard to sum up your life in, you know, less than 30 minutes. All right, so I will see you guys soon, and I am off tomorrow to take a trip and do some camping with my friends, and so that'll likely be my next video. Will be just a fun one and more vlog style of the crazy girls weekend that we do every year in August. Happens to be my birthday this weekend, my 50th, and so we'll also be celebrating that, and so I will bring that to you guys next week. Until then, I hope you guys have a wonderful day, night, evening, afternoon, morning, wherever you are. See ya. Moving on. Moving on up to the top. Moving on up. If you've never hung out with me long enough, do you not know that I will break off into song all the time? I don't typically know I'm doing it, and I often don't know the words, so I will just... It's no wonder that Craig is like, you gotta go. I can't take you anymore. Please. Kind of want to explain. I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. Ooh, that bug just flew right at my face.